think we found another. Get ready.
So, Artfight. Chances are, if you're any type of artist on the internet, you've heard of it. It's a simple concept. Once a year, in the month of July, you attack other artists by drawing their OCs. Other artists do the same to you. There are themed teams every year, a whole bunch of cool stuff like a point system based on how much you draw. Look, there's a whole website, and there's also so many videos out there about Artfight that if you're curious, go watch those, because they will be so much better at explaining how it works than I ever could. So yeah, go watch those, either now or later. I don't care, I'm not your parental unit. Heck, if you're super curious, I made a video last year about my whole Artfight experience. It was like a whole movie length. Grab your popcorn for that one. Anyways, now that this is my 6th year, my 6th round of Artfight, I knew things were gonna have to be different. You know, last year, I went pretty ham with it, as the kids say. You know, I was doing, like an attack every day. This year, I have work and school, which were things I did not have last year, so I didn't really have as much time to dedicate to Artfight. So, if I couldn't do a lot of attacks, there was still a way I really wanted to make Artfight interesting for me this year. And, well, you've seen the title and the thumbnail for this video. I'm doing a NUZLOCKE, but with brushes. A Brushlocke. So, it all started, this crazy idea, with me watching Do Not Play Artfight Like This 20 Artfight Challenge Modes by YouTuber Konceptian, who is a really cool YouTuber who I am subscribed to. You should subscribe to them as well, if you have not. But yes, as a joke, I proposed in the comment section of that video something like, oh, Artfight NUZLOCKE. Someone draws your character, you have to hide them from your page, and you keep going till you have no more characters. The thing is, though, I put so much time and effort this year into drawing like these little chibi icons for my OCs. I didn't want to waste all that effort. So I was, describing this dilemma to my friends, and one of my friends, Dungeon, was just like, Brushlocke, a brush NUZLOCKE. Basically, if you use a brush once, you can't use it for the rest of Artfight. Though for this challenge, certain art tools like the paint bucket and the ice cream man fill brush tool you can find in Clip Studio Paint. Both of those I'm not counting for this just because they are both time savers and wrist savers. And look, I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. I'm stealing my friend's idea, and definitely don't follow his Twitter at DungeonRatedArt or anything. Gatskin's Artfight 2025! How the fuck do I make a better transition? First two characters I will be drawing for Artfight. They are connected in a way that I think is important to mention. So, last year, I guess kind of spoilers for my 5th Artfight video, I had 2 people draw me or attack me, and I wasn't able to revenge them at that point, just because I was just plum-tuckered tired. So, I said in that video that they would be top of my list this year, both of them. So, 1 and 2 for the Artfight attacks, that's who I'm attacking. So, to get in the first victim, that's a little dark, isn't it? The first number 1 priority, we have Mr.Star, who belongs to Elliot_Chaos. And Mr.Star here, this is going to be a reoccurring theme throughout the whole video. I chose him specifically to draw out of Elliot_Chaos's characters because I thought he looked fun to draw. There isn't a lot of information on Mr.Star's character page, but he was listed under the tag Weirdcore. So I kind of tried my best to incorporate like a Weirdcore aesthetic into the piece. I just kind of drew a simple pose, him sitting down in a chair, but I added this kind of liminal, dream-like background and like some text. I forgot what it says. You can see it in the speed paint here. I had a lot of fun doing the background just because I need to draw more like landscapes and stuff, trees and houses and stuff. I don't do that as much. Bummer. And while I do admit it might have not have exactly ended up quote-unquote weirdcore, because then you also have like other aesthetics like a dreamcore and gosh, what are some other ones? It's like dreamcore, weirdcore. Look, there's a whole bunch of like internet aesthetics that kind of go into this broader term of like liminal weirdness, and it might have all just kind of blurred together. Regardless of that, however, I think it made a pretty fun piece for this first attack. And this time I will say victim, and it won't be creepy. The first victim of the Brushlocke, the first sack of rice. One of my personal favorite brushes, the ZH Flatbird Texture. Brush ID on the Clip Studio Paint store, 1983646. With it being part of this whole brush pack by, I believe, ZH Illustrator. Yeah, sounds about right. So we appreciate your service, first brush of the Brushlocke, as we go into our next top priority attack for 2025. And that next character is Bijou. Bijou? Bijou, who belongs to Lavender Possum on Artfight. Bijou is described as a pathetic little white cat in a Jester outfit, and he is so cute. I looked at him and I knew I had to draw him, because like, I just want to squeeze him, you know? I just want to squeeze him. He's so cute. But not too much, you know, just the right amount of squeezing, or like, you know, when you have a cat and like sometimes the cat likes to be pat in a way that seems a little aggressive, but it's not because the cat likes it. I'm a little weird with that. I don't know. One thing that Lavender Possum did mention is that he could be drawn in silly situations. So I decided to do that in this illustration, having him walk about in this kind of abstract wonderland with these floor tiles and velvet ropes, kind of like curtains in the background. I would say it's a lot like that one room from Twin Peaks, but I haven't really seen Twin Peaks, so I can't really confirm the validity of that statement. And for this piece, I used a couple brushes. It was the charcoal and pastel brush. I think both of those are part of like default brushes that come with Clip Studio Paint, but don't take my word on that. Another thing I was doing for this piece is that I was very much channeling the style of Leon Zernitsky. He's an artist whose work I've really come to adore. Lots of abstract, warm, very beautiful, very charming. If you have ever looked up like global village coffee house aesthetics on like Pinterest or something, there's a good chance you've seen like his art. I think it's kind of gotten aligned with that whole aesthetic movement. I believe for a lot of his pieces he uses pastels, which is why I chose to use the digital brushes I did. But yeah, I just have like such an admiration for like the colors and stuff that he uses in his pieces. So I had a lot of fun trying to like recreate or take things that I admire from his art and applying it to this piece. And I think because of that, I really like how this one came out, and I hope Lavender Possum, I hope you enjoy this art of Bijou as well. The character, or characters, in this next piece I'm drawing might not need any introduction, because it's Kynthia and Apollo, who you will kind of see in the background here in an abstract way, who of course, both of those belong to Actually Ray, aka Jinja Ninja. Whoa! And like, how could I not draw their OCs when I found out they were doing Artfight this year? If you're watching this video and you somehow don't know who June is, they are like a cornerstone of YouTubers who do art to me. Like, I will not lie, while watching June's videos was one of the things that inspired me to try to make YouTube videos myself about like art and stuff. Call it corny, but I just kind of feel like drawing something for them for Artfight was just a way to kind of give like thanks, for not only make all the banger videos, but just, inspiring me and thousands of other artists out there to get out there and create. I knew I had to draw Kynthia and, that Apollo kind of in the background there, because I am such a sucker for a good tragedy. In couples, I knew I also really wanted to try to invoke some Muka-esque composition and styling into this piece. As you can see, I tried to kind of frame that kind of like background Apollo, like his glasses around Kynthia, like you see in a lot of Muka's compositions. You'll have like the main figure and there's kind of like that circle frame. I don't think I really pulled it off, but it was fun to try. And by having a composition like that, I was trying to frame Apollo's glasses around Kynthia and then draw those glitchy hologram effects later on to evoke the whole entire
Kynthia prism go into my eyes
Apollo has with his late wife. So the brushes I used for this piece, I of course used all these like glitch brushes from like the static brush effect pack. I forgot which ones, so I'm just considering the whole pack done. It was a massacre. They're all dead. It was terrible. But as for the brushes I used for the actual drawing, it was a combination of the Arcamilla marker brush, the rough G pen, as well as the turnip pen, which are, some more brushes I tend to use a lot. So once again, using up brushes I'm more comfortable with, getting them out of the way so I can experiment with some lesser used ones down the line. Attack number 4. For this one, I actually returned to a brush that I used to use all the time a few years back. But just for some reason, I've kind of moved on from, and it is the SU Cream Pencil. Stefan University Pencil. No, that's not what the SU stands for. Probably. This is actually my first revenge for Artfight 2025. The characters I'm drawing in this piece are Ace and Rex, who belong to KVLT666. And both of these characters are Mii's, and I was so excited to see these two when looking at KVLT666's page, because I love Mii's. Mii's are so cute. Tomodachi Life is one of my favorite games. Probably the highlight of my gaming career was Mii Sports as a child. And I guess that lens of gaming ended up being a through line for the whole development of this piece, as Rex is described as being a huge fan of arcade games, with Defender being his favorite, which I try to recreate him playing, as well as having a few other arcade cabinets in the background behind Ace. The whole scene being a nice hangout for the two. Maybe something a little romantic, since I know the two characters have been described or having like a potential romantic connection between the two. Regardless of the specific interaction being more platonic or romantic, I think that the two, hanging out is nice. Because, Ace, from what I've read on his character page, bless his heart, he's got it a little rough. So I'm glad that, he has someone like Rex in his life, to have a positive, healthy, person, there, all the struggles and stuff he has to deal with his older brother. So I'm really glad I got to draw these two, and I had a lot of fun. So my life is like a video game trying to collect coins. Ooh-hoo-hoo-hoo. For attack number 5, I'm drawing another duo of characters, this time being Kamen Rider Chrono and V.Phantom Polyphonic, who belongs to my good close friend, Milktrition, aka Milk. What's so cool about these characters, aside from the fact that they're my friends' OCs, and I'm already biased in that regard to thinking they're some of the coolest characters ever, is that these are AU versions of Milk's characters. Gin, who is Kamen Rider Chrono, and then Polly, who is V.Phantom Polyphonic. And these specific AU versions of these characters were actually done to kind of fit in with this creative project I have called Liminal Lost and Found. If you're new here and you don't know what that is, it's okay. I have this playlist of videos on my channel about it. A lot of them are outdated, but it kind of gives a general dealio on what it is. Basically, it's my take on the backrooms kind of combined with the idea of, I guess, a multiverse. I know the idea of a multiverse is a little bit overplayed these days, but I still just find it a really fun way to smash certain character ideas or certain ideas together in really fun, cool ways. Case in point, what Milk has done with this Laugh AU version of their OCs. So, again, he's the third rider in a made-up Kamen Rider series called Kamen Rider Snap. I know a lot of people don't know Kamen Rider, and I'm just getting into it, but don't worry. Just sit with me here. Hear me out. Okay. This Kamen Rider has a lot of series and stuff, and in this series of Kamen Rider, it's another case of kind of Kamen Rider Victory Royale. I guess kind of maybe what was going on in Geats a little bit. I haven't watched a lot of Geats, so, don't take my word for it exactly. And Gin, aka Kamen Rider Chrono, his, powers, he has, these time stop powers given to him by, his jellyfish patron. And things were going all good, all Kamen Rider-y. But one day, during one of his, time stops, he accidentally gets, plopped into the liminal. And after wandering around for a bit, as one often ends up doing in the liminal, he comes across and meets a V.Phantom, a Polyphonic, who is this kind of retro future magical girl. Milk has specifically said that she was based off of, what's the one clamp with the dolls and the robots? Why didn't I write this down? The robot ones, just kind of like that specific art style. But yes, V.Phantom Polyphonic, where she is from, she was helping to stop these corrupted files from the internet from attacking the real world. Well, before she got into the liminal. And the two of them become buddies and have lots of fun shenanigans in the liminal, with both reminding the other of a show their family members used to watch when they were younger. So in the case of Gin, we had family members who would watch a magical girl show, kind of similar to V.Phantom Polyphonic. And for Polly, when she was younger, she had family members who would watch Kamen Rider, if that makes sense. And neither of them tell the other about this, because it's kind of seen as a social taboo to go up to someone in the liminal and say, "Hey, you're just like Blurple from my shows!" Because that can make things really awkward, Really awkward. So you got Kamen Rider, you got magical girls, you got the crushing existentialism that comes with thinking about layers of reality and fiction, which is a theme, I really enjoy seeing explored in things. So for my attack, drawing these two, the brushes I used this kind of wobbly line brush with the ID number 1676566, and I used it also to do some hatching on it to shade, kinda. I also, for the coloring, I used the Cell Shade Razo, and it's really funny that after I got done drawing this, I kind of realized that I put them in a Team Rocket-esque pose. I even, because of that, named the piece to protect the world from devastation on Artfight. Just to get that idea across, these two, they're a pair of rascals. Well, Jin wouldn't want to be a rascal. Polly might. I don't know. Milk, hey Milk, if you're watching this, you can answer, the comments. Would Gin and or Polly want to be called rascals? Would they want to be rascals? Little rascals, even. If you answer it, I'll pin the comment. No pressure. Anyways, yeah. Here they are. World's best heroes. In my last Artfight video, I had it set up day by day on what I was drawing and what had been drawn for me, documenting it in that kind of style. This year I'm doing something a little different, and I'm just going to do a slideshow here showing all the art which had been drawn for me, which if I'm editing this video right, you will start to see right now. Woo! I just wanted to take the time to thank everyone who attacked me during Artfight this year. I know being a YouTuber, even a small YouTuber that I am, that does give me privilege of having a platform and having people look at what you do. And that's scary for many reasons you can probably think of. And I often get really caught up in those fears. But seeing not only the attacks people have sent my way, but the comments people will attach to those attacks and be like, "Oh, I saw your videos on YouTube. I really enjoyed them." That kind of thing. It reminds me, things are going to be okay. Just got to keep going, living my life. So sincerely, and I mean this sincerely, once again, thank you for everyone who's attacked me, or even if you haven't attacked me, just remain supportive of this channel after all this time. Whether it's just, silently watching videos, clicking like, subscribing, commenting, whatever, it really means the world to me. Onwards to some stats for Artfight. I did very bare minimum data collection on which characters got drawn the most this year for Artfight. And the top 3 characters drawn were Prometheus, aka Julius. He was third with 4 pieces, and then Azure came in second with 5. And then, coming in with a steel chair with a total of 6 pieces, it's Daisy, which was something I was not expecting. Go Daisy, I guess. People just really like to draw the horse. The horse is here. I also wanted to give a shout out. Gosh, I feel a little conflicted bringing this up, but it would eat me up inside if I didn't. There was an artist who drew like an attack of like 2 of my characters, Lou and Eve, and that piece got deleted. I'm not sure if the artist themselves deleted it or it was taken down by like Artfight, but I saw it and I wasn't able to comment on it. So if you're that said person, it was like a traditional piece. There was like stickers on it. I really loved it. It was really cute. I'm so sorry I wasn't able to comment on it. It was awesome. Thank you so much. And thus ends the intermission. Next attack, it is a revenge, though I'm like 95% sure I forgot to label it as such on Artfight. It happens. This revenge is going towards another art YouTuber here, this time being Koispec, who is, as you know, the kind of whole catalyst for the gimmick for this video, the Brushlocke, and also a YouTube acquaintance of mine. So I really wanted to draw one of their characters, this time being Cass from Paladins. I really wanted to draw her because I have like such a soft spot for purple, kind of angsty female characters with some dragon-like associations, which I know sounds very niche as a character archetype, but I swear it's real. I swear. And so it's because of those reasons that I decided to draw Cass multiple times, different poses, different expressions. And it kind of took me a bit to figure out the composition of the piece, especially that upper right pose. I had to fiddle with that for a while. I knew I wanted that bottom middle pose to be a reference or homage to The Fallen Angel by Alexandre Cabanel. But the other 2, especially the upper right pose, all 3 poses, definitely giving off the vibe of, hey, you can't hit me, I'm just a little birthday girl. You know that tweet. You know the one? Am I crazy? Anyways, the brush that I used for this piece is one of my favorite brushes. It is the dry oil brush by The Donner on Ko-fi. I downloaded it as part of like a brush pack a few years back, and since then it's been a constant staple in my art. Couldn't go without it. Well, now I have to, because, I just killed it for Artfight. Memento Mori, dry oil brush. Here's Cass. Here we are now on lucky number 7. It's another revenge, this time on Agiloves. And in return of them drawing Shinju, I am drawing 2 of his characters, being Prince Konceptian and Jester, using the brushes Oil Sketch and Brush Pen. I am once again drawn, pun not intended, to drawing, the Jester. I love my Jesters, gotta draw the Jesters. But I also really enjoy characters who are royalty in some shape or form. Like, I don't believe monarchies should exist in real modern times, but in a historical and fictional context, it's such an interesting topic to me. I don't know, especially with some of the stuff Agiloves has brought up with their characters. Their whole entire like OCs that they had on their Artfight page are part of like this historical fiction work set in this fantasy country. It's kind of like 18th century France from what I remember reading, with Jester and the prince being in a secret relationship that no one else in the kingdom knows about. I also think it's really funny that before being hired by and working for the royal family, Jester actually performed political satire about the royal family. It's like that meme with Squidward that's like,
Can't stand their fake ass. Me and the bestie.
you get the point. The background, although it is just abstract colors here and there, There was some thought put into it, mainly because blue, red, and green are colors associated with Konceptian, and I thought by making them the more saturated, kind of darker versions of those colors, having that against the lighter colors that the characters have, I thought that would make, you know, the whole piece kind of have a visual contrast there. So with attack number 7 done, I'm done clowning around. Well, not clowning around. Jester's a jester. So instead of gesturing around, I'm horsing around. But I'm not horsing around either, because attack number 8's not a horse. I'm drawing a pony. So I guess it'd be ponying around. Terrible transition. Asides, I'm drawing another revenge attack. The subject of this revenge is Blurple, who belongs to Kynthia Artly01 on Artfight. Though she did request that I mention her on YouTube, like her YouTube account, which is Kynthia Artly. So shout out to her YouTube channel. In this piece, I'm using the dry ink brush, as well as these 2 crayon brushes that have the ID of 1997853, which give the whole piece a bit of a rougher look to it, adding a little bit of visual charm there. You know, rougher line art never hurt anybody. Though with how cute Blurple is, it might not even need that additional charm. Because like Blurple is so charming and cute, I could totally like buy a plushie if I could and had the money. Anyways, it was a real blast to draw Blurple. Just a real throwback to my My Little Pony Friendship is Magic days, from childhood to early teenagehood. It was my first experience really with anything fandom related, for better or for worst. I literally spent a whole summer reading Equestria Daily articles, specifically the ones that's like the fan art showcase ones, if you know what I'm talking about. Whew, I was annoying back then, but it's okay when you're a kid, you're supposed to be annoying. Just the nature of life. The pattern in the background is another Clip Studio Paint asset. It's from this pack of like 80s prints. I think the ID for it is 1697669. I did edit the colors on it a bit, and then I added another rectangle just to add some compositional interest. But overall, it's a pretty straightforward piece, and I enjoyed drawing it, and I had a real fun time drawing Blurple. Attack number 9, I'm doing another cute character by drawing another revenge, though I did once again forget to click the revenge button when I submitted the attack. When will I learn that my actions have consequences? But yes, I am drawing Dahlia, who belongs to Sleepy_Natty. Dahlia is a ball of extroverted positive energy compressed into this little fairy. And I love optimistic characters, especially ones like Dahlia, who, you know, are described as clumsy and, you know, might mess stuff up. But they still look at the bright side of things, you know, dust themselves off. And then, you know, Dahlia's case, she's just gonna keep that positive energy up. Just keep marching to that happy drum. And the eternal optimism that Dahlia has, that was definitely something I needed for this piece. Because I struggled this time around, and I feel a bit bad about that, but it's the truth. I'm not sure if it was art block or what it was, because just nothing felt right. Maybe I should have done a warm-up, I don't know. I kind of debated on doing a half body or a full body. I wish I'd done the half body I had planned out, because I think it was more interesting compositionally. But the full body, I'm glad I got to draw her full design, because like her full outfit and stuff's so cute. I just think her pose ended up a little stiff, if that makes sense. So apologies for that, Sleepy Natty. You know what they say, you live and you learn, c'est la vie. I still hope you enjoy the art. But the brush I used this time, I kind of planned it out. I wanted it to be cute. So Dahlia is a fairy. One thing I often think about when I think about like little woodland fairies is like all the little woodland creatures, right? Like the frogs and the mushrooms. The brush I used, it's called Froggy Pencil, and it's like a literal like frog is the brush shape. So I thought that was like a fun connection to do there with the art. So yes, thank you so much, Sleepy_Natty, for letting me draw your character. And here we are, our final attack. Artfight 2025. My final revenge, because it's also another revenge. And this time, I'm drawing Ludo. Whoa. Okay, back to serious time now. But yes, Ludo, who belongs to Ranchu Stars, is this wonderful, chaotic little jester. Like I said, I gotta draw my jesters, I gotta draw my clowns, I gotta draw my funny guys. Especially with the red and teal in Ludo's design. Red and teal are like two of my favorite colors. It was just, I looked at Ludo, it's like, I'm coming for you. You can't hide from me. Okay? Nothing you can do. You can't hide. And I had so much fun drawing Ludo. I used the Artemis brushes. It's like an Artemis Hard, an Artemis HB, an Artemis Big Boy. Those were the brushes I used. And then also like this dot brush you'll see towards the end for the background. I did 2 poses for Ludo, a half body and a full body. I made the half body. You'll see a thing a lot of artists do. They'll draw like a full body and then they'll copy the full body, put it on a lower layer, do like a lower opacity, might add some layer effects to add like some visual interest in the background. That's what I did with the half body. I believe I used like the invert color layer property just because I liked how it looked. But yeah, just drew Ludo in these 2 kind of funny, smug poses because it was just a lot of fun. That's what I felt like doing. Definitely kept things to 1 layer when I was sketching out the character. It took me a bit longer to get done drawing this one just because I'd get started on it and then I'd have to go to work and then I get back from work and I'd be so tired from work I'd push it off. But little by little I got there. I got this piece done, thus ending the final attack, the final revenge for my Artfight 2025. Thank you so much, Ranchu Stars. Artfight 2025 was definitely not as grand as 2024. Like I said, I drew like over 30 pieces for Artfight last year. Like 2024 me could kick current me in the ass. Regardless of how many pieces I drew this year, last year, or any of the now 6 Artfights I've done, I know I made it out good this year because I had fun. To me, Artfight is always about having fun. Getting to try out new things or just taking things slow, just watching so many of your artist peers just have a good time drawing all your characters together. It's just awesome. Just getting to see everybody's OCs and stuff and how creative people can be. And nothing else really gets me that pumped to create and keep working on my own ideas like Artfight. Well, that and Toby Fox's work. But come on, it's Toby Fox. You got Undertale, Deltarune, and probably because it's been on my mind a lot since the new chapters came out. But Tricky Tony, he's been showing off like his concept art for various things. And it just reminds me once again that every character is just someone's OC. And every character that we make, we put a little bit ourselves in there, whether it just be the things we find interesting, our own life experiences, the joy, the pain. And I love that so much. I love being creative, I love being alive and having the opportunity to make art, even if it isn't the best thing out there, and just getting to participate in Artfight, getting to draw other people's characters. It's always a blast, so I'm so happy I could do Artfight again this year. So thank you on joining me on this year's Artfight adventure, and I hope to see you in the future, either in this video or somewhere else out there. Till next time, this is Gatsby from Gatskin, signing out.